The United States condemns this terror attack, and we will do whatever is necessary to help. Whatever inspired today's terror attack, the United States stands ready to assist the people of Spain and find and punish those responsible. On this dark day, our prayers and the prayers of all the American people are with the victims, their families, and the good people of Spain.
Joining me now, political analyst Peter Mathews. And of course, Peter, as with Donald Trump, it's not necessarily the initial response, but there is always a controversy somewhere. A lot of people have noted that the president was very quick to condemn the terrorist attack in Barcelona, yet he is still to call a similar attack, a car attack in Charlottesville, Virginia, an act of domestic terrorism. He said, call it whatever you want. So can you explain why Donald Trump sees these two attacks, which seem very different to most, as being so different to him?
A complete double standard on his part. Not only did he condemn decisively the terrorist attack in Spain, he even sent love, as his tweet indicated, to the Spaniards. But when it came to Charlottesville, there wasn't a word about terrorism in any way, and I think he's playing to his base. He wants that extremist base of his, or portion that's extremist, the white nationalists, white supremacists, to stick with him and vote for him and get people galvanized once again in 2020 if he can. He's always catered to his base, and overall his base supports just 33%, 34%. But he was thinking politically, but also from his emotional basis. He just doesn't seem to be able to connect with the tragedy of this kind of thing in Charlottesville, because the people who were the counter-protesters didn't agree with him politically. And he took one side over the other. It was completely egregious as an American president. Never happened before in my view, my lifetime.
Right. Well, with Charlottesville, the president, he was criticised for that tepid initial response on Saturday. By Tuesday, at that very kind of contentious news conference, he said that first response about Charlottesville, he was just being cautious. This is what he said.
You don't make statements that direct unless you know the fact. It takes a little while to get the facts. You still don't know the facts. And it's a very, very important process to me.
There does seem to be a trend here when it comes to the president wanting to be cautious and when he wants to be quick off the mark. Yeah,
like I said, a double standard. He wants to not wait for facts when the events occurred in Florida, and he right away jumped to the conclusion that it was a terrorist, a Muslim terrorist. And when it comes to this, he doesn't want to wait for the facts because he doesn't want to take a decisive stand against white supremacy and the terrorism of that group that was there on Friday night and Saturday night again, causing violence, armed, and then someone ramming, one of their members ramming an automobile into the body of many, many people, killing one woman, a beautiful 32-year-old woman who's an activist, social justice activist, Heather Meyer, was killed dead, and it was horrible. She was a person exemplary and a perfect example, a fine example of what America should be about, and most of us are about. In this case, the president has to get this right. In fact, Senator Bob Corker says he doesn't think the president has the competence or the ability to be successful at this point. He hasn't shown it, he said.
After that initial tweet on Thursday, the one which seemed almost normal, offering support, then about 45 minutes later, we had another tweet. This is it. Study what General Pershing of the United States did to terrorists when caught. There was no more radical Islamic terror for 35 years. Now, this is a golden oldie statement from the campaign. This was Donald Trump last year explaining what he meant.
He caught 50 terrorists who did tremendous damage and killed many people. And he took the 50 terrorists, and he took 50 men, and he dipped 50 bullets in pig's blood. And he had his men load his rifles, and he lined up the 50 people, and they shot 49 of those people. And the 50th person, he said, you go back to your people and you tell them what happened. And for 25 years, there wasn't a problem.
Okay, so the story changes a little bit, but the bottom line is none of it is true. And during the campaign, that was pointed out to the president. So why would he so publicly, put a rumor out there or a false debunked story, not only proven to be wrong, but also offensive?
Because Donald Trump has never had a problem with lying or coming out with facts that don't exist. He talks about fake news. He is the fake news in many ways, and he doesn't, no compunction about that, no worry about that. He just wants to say things that he wants to say to get his base fired up and get people who are, full of his particular ideology out there and supporting him once again. So that's one reason he didn't care about it and brought it back up again. The same comments of the General Pershing, totally inaccurate.
And very quickly, there doesn't seem to be any realization from the president of essentially the controversy over his actions over the last couple of days. There's no moderation of his behavior. I guess that was not to be expected.
Isn't it amazing? I mean, we have, every time we think that we're at the apex of this crisis of leadership, it gets even worse. And so I'm not surprised one bit as to how he sees this. He's not really connected to reality fully, in my view. And we need the president to be so. As Senator Corker said, we need him to succeed. But he hasn't shown one iota the possibility of being a successful leader who can take this country forward in the right way.